Welcome to Boostfad Academy Computer Tutorial Series. This is tutorial number 22. In this tutorial, we'll be discussing about fraction. When we have expression that has to do with fraction, how do we input them on the computer system? Look at these fractions. 2 over 3. The second one, 2 over 3 plus 4 over 5, or 2 over 3 plus 1 over 4, everything divided by 4 over 5. And lastly, when we are having fraction that also include superscript, something like 2 raised to power 2 divided by 2 raised to power 3 times 3 square over 5 square. How are we going to do this when on a computer system? That's what I'm going to explain in this tutorial. So like I always said, the first thing is to go to your Microsoft Word. Let's open our Microsoft Word by double clicking on Microsoft Word. So it's loading. So I've opened my Microsoft Word. So now let's start with the first one. Let me enlarge so that we can see it better. So let's start with the first one, 2 over 3. So like I said, anything you want to do that cannot be done on your computer system, that means it's going to be under insert. It's like you want to import something into your Microsoft Word. So you stuff like that, you only find the option under the insert. So let's go to our menu bar. If you remember, as it's under the menu bar, we have all those menus: home, insert, page layout, reference. We have done everything under the home. So in the last couple of videos now, what you have been doing is under insert. So you go to the insert, you click on insert. After clicking on insert, at the right side of the toolbar, you remember the toolbar is immediately after the menu bar. At the right side, you will see equation. You can see this is the equation. You can see an arrow pointing down under the equation, because there are some equations that have already included in the Microsoft Word. If you click on this arrow, it will only display those equations. But what we want to do is that we want to create a fraction. So you rather click on this sign, so which we call the pi. So once you click on the sign, you realize that there will be some changes on the toolbar. So you can see as I clicked it, something like this, that is type equation here. Then at the same time, the toolbar changed. So if you look at the toolbar towards this side, if you look at it, look at this one, you can see fraction. So you can see we have script, which means superscript. So we have radical, integral, but what you are doing is fraction, like the superscript I treated in the last tutorial. So you can also do the superscript here instead of using the shortcut. So this time around, we want to create a fraction, and there are different styles of fraction. So click on the arrow, it will bring the options. So you can see the first one, which means it has one at the top, one below. If it is this type of fraction you want to choose, you choose this option. If it is something like this, that is, you have the first figure slash the second figure, you choose something like this. So but the fraction we are creating is this one. You select the first one by clicking on it. So you can see it appeared. So now to input the number, so the box at the top is for the numerator. In a fraction, the number at the top is called numerator, while the number below is called the denominator. So you take your mouse pointer inside the first box at the top, you click on it, you can see it's highlighted blue. Then you type the number. Want to type 2 over 3, which is the first one, you type 2. You can see, then you click on the bottom one to type your denominator. So as I click on it, you can see it highlighted blue as well. You type your 3. You can see, so I'm done with that one. That's 2 over 3. Now let's look at the second one, where I have 2 over 3 plus 4 over 5. You follow the same steps. You go to insert, you click on equation. After clicking on the equation, you click on what? Fraction. Then you select the fraction options. So at the top, we have 2 over 3 again. You type your 2. Below it, we have 3. You type your 3. Then after typing your 3, you can use the arrow key, that is the right arrow, just to move out. So you can see as I click on the arrow key, the cursor moved away from the 3 and comes beside the whole fraction blinking. So expect me what next to do. You can give space by pressing the space bar on your keyboard. You can see I've spaced it. Then your plus sign, you click on your shift and the equal sign. That's where we have the plus sign on the keyboard. I press down the shift, then I press equal. You can see that's the plus, then space again. Let's do space. 2/3 plus. Now we have 4/5, which means we go back to our fraction. It's also fraction we want to input. I will click on select fraction, then the fraction option. You can see it has appeared. Then click on the top to input the numerator, which is 4. Then click on the bottom to input the denominator, which is 5. You can see that is 4/5. Let's click outside the equation box. So you can see that is 4/5. 2/3 plus 4/5. That's how to do something that has to do with fraction. Now look at this third one. You can see it's like a kind of manipulation. We have 2/3 plus 1/4, everything divided by 4/5. So when working on computer system, before you even start at all, you do your calculation. If you look at it, which means we have 2/3 plus 4/5. The two are at the top. Then we have 4/5 below it. So in simple terms, it means we have fractions. That is, we have two fractions adding together, everything divided by 4/5. In that case, which means we are going to have fraction. So at the top, which is the numerator, so which means we are going to have series of fractions. That is where we are going to have 2/3 plus 1/4. This is what I'm saying. Let me go to my insert, then equation, then fraction. So select fraction. So this time around, you can see we have our two boxes as usual. So in the case of this one, our 2/3 plus 1/4, we are going to type both at the top. Hope you understand me. That is 2/3 plus 1/4. Those two fractions will be our numerator. Then the question is, how are we going to do that? It's the same thing, which means we can have fraction inside fraction. So as I click at the top, instead of me to type number, I will go back to fraction and select fraction again. So then option, you can see I have fraction at that top. Then I can now input my 2/3. So I click on the top, I enter 2. Then I click at the bottom, I enter 3. Then I press my right arrow key to come outside it. You can see this time around the cursor is blinking at the side of 2/3, expecting if I still have some other things to do. So I can now give space. You can see as I'm giving the space, the division line below it is also extending, which means everything is still at the top. Now I can now input the plus sign by pressing down the shift and the equal sign. And I have the plus sign, then space again. So now 1/4 plus 1/4, which means I go back to fraction. Select the fraction option. You see, I now have the double fraction. At the top, I input my what? 1. At the bottom, I input the 4. 1/4. You can see we now have 2/3 plus 1/4. Why we still have the box for the denominator? Now I can click on the box below. So now it's expecting me to type the denominator, but the denominator we are having here is still what? Is still a fraction, which is 4/5. That means I'm going to input fraction again by going to the insert equation, then fraction. I hope you still remember the steps. Then I select the fraction, I select the style I want. So you can see I have the two boxes at the top where I have my 4. I click on it, the numerator, which is 4, then the denominator, which is 5. So you can see I now have the full fraction 2/3 plus 1/4, everything divided by 5. Now the last one, which is 2 square over 3 square times 3 square over 5 square, which means in this one we have two different things. We have fraction, we also have superscript inside fraction, that is power inside a fraction. So it's the same thing. The first thing is to draw a fraction. Go to insert, go to equation, select fraction, then select your fraction option. So like I said, now in the numerator we have 2 square. This time around you press your 2. Then for our square, in case if we want to input square inside fraction, it's not the usual case where we press 22. If you remember when I was discussing about superscript and subscript, I said you press 22, then you highlight the 2, the one you want to take as power, which is the second 2, then we press Ctrl D. So if you see this one, by pressing the Ctrl D, you can see the superscript selection is faded, which means you cannot select superscript here. Then how are you going to do that? For a fraction, if you remember, for a fraction, for you to input superscript, fraction has its own style of superscript. That is, I've entered the 2, so it remains the second 2, which is square. You go to your insert, you go to your equation. So this time around, you know, we have fraction, like I said, followed by script. That is the option you are going to use when you want to input something like power in a fraction, which means you click on it, you can see the style. This one now we have 2 boxes. One box, the other box is at the top, which means it's indicating power. Look at this second one, we have 1 box, the other box is what? Below it, which means this indicates what? Base. So in this case, what you want to do is power. You select this one. So as I selected the box, you can see the first box where I have. So that's what I'm going to use. Then the first box is for your 2, while the second one is for your what? Square. That is 2 square. So I've clicked outside it, then you space. No, okay. Below it, which is the denominator, you come to the denominator, you do the same thing. We have fraction, then we have script. So what you have here is 3 raised to power 2, which means it's power. We are going to use script, not fraction this time around. You click on it, then you select the option. Your option is indicating the number and the power. That's what the 2 boxes meant. That is, the first one is for the number, which is 3, while the second box is for the power, which is what? 2. No, 2. That is 3 square. Now we can now click outside it using the right arrow key. So as I click, you can see the cursor has returned to the side of the bar. Expecting maybe I still have some other things to do. I cannot space. So you can see after spacing it, I have 2 square divided by 3 square times, you use your X, times, then space. Then we have 3 square divided by 5 square. You go to your fraction, you select fraction because it is fraction. Then at the top where we have 3 square, that is a script. So that is superscript. You select the script option, that is the one with number and power. So we have 2 boxes. The first number, which is the number, you type 3. The power, you type it inside the box at the top, that is 3 square. So the same thing happens for the denominator where we have 5 square. I click inside it, you click your script, you select your script option. So 5 is the number. You click inside the first one, you press your 5, then you click inside the power, you press your what? The power, which is square, that is 5 square. You can now see we now have 2 square divided by 3 square, everything multiplied by 2 square divided by 5 square. So that is it about fraction and anything that has to do with fraction. Anytime you have expression that has to do with fraction, you sit down, you look at how they manipulate. Most times it's always fractions inside fractions. So once you are able to identify how the fractions are manipulated, you will be able to break them out in your Microsoft Word. So thank you very much once again for watching the video. So in the next tutorial, I will be discussing about table. How do we create a table? in Microsoft Word. Under the table, there are a lot of things we are going to discuss it, but it's also going to be step by step as usual. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like the video, and share it with others for them also to benefit and for the channel to grow. That's the only thing you can do to help this channel with everything I've been putting forward. So until the next lesson, I say we'll be meeting. I said take care of yourself.